If you want to see how we took a brand from $3,000 a month to almost $500,000 a month in the last 12 months, this video is for you. I'm walking through strategy, concepts, margins, and more to give you a behind the scenes look on how we actually take brands from four figures a month, $4,000 or $5,000 to $500,000 a month. This video is for you. Stay tuned. It is insane. Let's get into it. Hey guys, my name is Chris Morano, founder of Blue Water Marketing. We're an agency here in South Florida that scales e-com brands. We only work with direct-to-consumer brands, and we use paid media, Facebook ads and Google ads, as well as email marketing for retention and lifetime value, and UGC and content creation to create new ads and iterate off of successful winners. And that's what we do. That's what we're really good at. We've been doing it for years. I myself have been in digital marketing for over 15 years now since graduating college, and we have taken multiple systems and processes that I've developed at both companies that I worked for, now implemented at my agency, to create a repeatable system to scale. And we scale relatively quickly. There are companies out there that will scale faster, but we like to keep our foot on the gas pedal and at least remain in third gear. Sometimes switch into fifth gear and really get things moving. And that's what we did with this brand, absolutely skyrocketing. So without further ado, let's hop into the store to show you guys this is real. Now you guys can see we are currently in the store, and year to date, we'll select last 12 months. So when they signed on with us, it was back in March of 2023. So when we started the conversation, they were doing roughly $6,000 a month, hit 14 and signed on with us. Now, from there, we had our 30 days of onboarding. So we, grew slightly there. And then as you guys can see, it has been nothing but a steady increase month over month with, of course, the January and December lows after Black Friday, which was a phenomenal month. And now we continue to grow. In last month, did 363. The date of this recording, we're halfway through June, and we are already at 322. Now you can see, of course, we're looking at year over year data. So these 188,000% increases are somewhat irrelevant, but even over the last 90 days, everything has increased with the KPIs that we have set forth for this client. Now, understanding the numbers and what's going into everything is extremely important. And I say it on every single video. If there's no understanding of margins and COGS and variable costs and operating expenses, being able to hit customer acquisition costs and numbers that we need to hit from a performance standpoint is really challenging. So from the start, we went in knowing exactly what we needed to hit our CAC or our customer acquisition cost. Now, what we're doing is we have 4 campaigns running. I mean, this is not one of those crazy 17 campaigns, 70 different ad sets. I promise you it doesn't need to be that way anymore. So we have our standard campaign set up. We have one for highest volume at $240 a day. We have our bid cap at $500 a day. We have a cost cap campaign running at $380 a day. And we have our retargeting, which we are using an Advantage Plus campaign, and I mentioned it in one of the previous videos that Advantage Plus has kind of taken the place of bottom of the funnel, retargeting, re-engagement ads. You can see on every one of our client campaigns across the board, Advantage Plus is delivering at a higher frequency than our top of the funnel campaigns. And so they are automatically re-engaging with people who have interacted with the Instagram or Facebook page or website. Now, in the last 30 days, May 1st to the 19th, you guys can see our cost per purchase or customer acquisition cost, $18, $24, $22, and $23, 8.28x, 6.13, 6.72, and a 5.72. So across the board, absolutely crushing it. And it's really coming down to how the market is responding to the creative assets. The company is doing a phenomenal job in terms of branding and differentiating themselves, and we're taking that same approach to the ads and media buying process, which is resulting in an average of a 6.81x, $21,000 spent, $22,000 with $150,000 return. Now, If you guys follow me, or if not and you're new, and welcome to the channel, appreciate you guys watching. You know that I don't just have my team running Facebook ads, but we also run Google ads. And these days with cross-platform attribution, we are seeing such specific results across both platforms. So what we've done with Google is run top of the funnel search keywords, performance max campaigns. So we're running both of them, and then we're running a shopping campaign with a target ROAS goal campaign. And then we're running Google shopping ads with a target ROAS as the goal. So across the board, we're spread out pretty well across the buying journey and understanding the psychology of buyers. Maybe they're seeing it on Facebook, so we need to have the branded keyword campaign running so that we're above the fold and above the competitors. But we're also running Performance Max with YouTube videos and shopping campaigns. And then we're running a very specific shopping campaign built around very specific products that they sell. Going into Google, you guys can see in the last 30 days, cost per conversion, $24. So going back to Facebook, we're pretty much in that same ballpark there. Understanding that as a performance marketing company, we need to be hitting our customer acquisition costs for our clients. We know this ahead of time. So we're at $24.57. It has cost $26,000 at a 5.8x ROAS with a conversion value of $155,000. Absolutely crushing it with this client. We have another client in the same space, absolutely crushing it right now. These are the things that you need to look at when you're scaling an e-commerce store. Know your numbers and iterate on creative ideas. Google and Facebook run hand in hand. It's a brand awareness play as well as a direct response play for Facebook and Instagram, which then translate to more efficient Google ads. This is how we're scaling. This is how we're doing it. Keep that foot on the gas. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what we are doing to scale a Shopify store, spending $1,300 to $1,500 per day using Meta ads. So we're in the ad account right now. You can see that we have a total of 6 different campaigns going, and we are following some of Meta's best practices. And they've actually come out recently and said there is actual hierarchy that you should be doing. And what that basically means is simplifying your ad account to ensure that you're reducing audience fragmentation, meaning you're not targeting the same audiences in a number of different ad sets. And they're also now saying that you should only have a maximum of 6 creative per ad set. It used to be 3 to 5. Now they're saying max of 6. We still like to keep 3 to 5 in each ad set. But the difference is we've broken apart campaigns in the majority of the clients that we work with to ensure that we're adhering to Meta's best practices, and we're actually seeing that work really well. This account is a bit of an anomaly because we're targeting specific products and we're working to make sure that we're delivering at the cost per purchase we need to be. So let's get into the ad account. So within this, we have a standard retargeting bottom of the funnel campaign, DSPs, catalogs, and carousel ads. So we're not going to get too much into that, but you can see we're at a 5.02. Across the board this month, we've spent $31,000, basically $1,000 a day. We're pushing that up again now. Had some inventory issues, so we had to hold back. From there, we have our cost cap campaign, which is at a 5.86. And if we break into this a little bit more, you can see how we have this set up. We're doing website and shop, and we're doing cost per result of $30. And so we're delivering at less than that right now, and we're kind of leaving this one status quo. Then we have our bid cap campaign, which we just opened up slightly. We have that set at $600 a day, but if you tell over the entire month, we're clearly not hitting that. So we just opened up that bid cap slightly, $55, in the hopes that, hey, we can keep the cost per purchase where it needs to be and still get those results. From there, we also wanted to test the highest volume. And you can see that Facebook's actually really doing pretty well. This is at a $400 a day budget. We're at a 5.54 with a 5.29% conversion rate, and average order value is $162, cost per purchase $29.26. Now, these campaigns have all been running for months now, and we're filtering in new creative all the time, and it's working really well. But with the recent addition of Meta telling us this is how you want to structure your campaigns, we thought let's add some more to this account. Now, generally, I don't like having 6-7 campaigns running, but in this scenario, it's actually pretty beneficial because we're able to really segment out angles, genders, hooks, products, and having inventory problems. It really allows us to turn off, turn on when we need to, or reduce budgets based on lack of inventory. So let's get into Meta's best practices, and hopefully you guys can follow along. So now we have a test campaign set up. And within this test campaign, we have 4 different ad sets, one of which is turned off now because it just wasn't really working and our cost per result was too high. So within this, we're really just looking at test creatives. And you can see our AOVs, our amount spent. We just launched this on 8/23, which at the time of this recording was 6 days ago. And we're seeing a 4.26, a 4.32, and a 3.52. Within these test campaigns, we're really just testing new creative. So we have 3 different creatives in here. You can see one of which cost per result $53. The other 2 haven't even spent enough based on our target CPA to turn those off yet. Then we're going into the next one and we're testing different creative, which you can see has a much higher volume, but a slightly higher cost per purchase. These 2 are new creatives that we're testing, and you can see the results are fantastic. So adhering to Meta's best practices, what we're doing is then we're going to put that into the scaling campaign. Hey, if you want us to do this for your store, click the link below, book a call with me. Let's go through your ad account, see where there might be some opportunities for massive growth. The scaling campaign, even though it's blurred out, is completely broad, male, female, within a certain age group. And then these are our winning creatives. We just put this one back in so you can see this row is a little bit lower than we'd like to see, but the other ones are hitting that CPA target over and over again. And so this budget will start to get cranked up as it kind of levels out, because generally what we're seeing is a week basically in that when we move the post ID from the test campaign to the scale campaign, there is a little lag time. So we want to make sure we're making up for that. And if you guys think this is an anomaly, let me break down another client of ours in their ad account. So this client is a little bit different in that they have very defined seasonality to their products. And so you'll see we have 4 campaigns running, bottom of the funnel, product 1, product 2, and then again, a test campaign. So the test campaign is basically feeding the testing going into this campaign. And so within the month of August, you'll see that we're at a 3.19, spent $24,000 month to date with a return of $78,000. Within this, we have our scale campaign, which is running pretty similar results. And within each of those, 3.89, 3.27, 3.23, and basically a 3. Now, if you look over the last 14 days, we're a little bit better. And over the last 7, we're again a little bit better there. So what we're doing is we're really taking the test campaign. We're testing all of these creatives. So our cost per purchase of $10 there at a 5. So these creatives will slowly start to be moved into the scale campaign, which we're averaging the 3.27. So this is really what we're finding to be absolute best practices. Running paid ads can help you scale a brand at a rapid pace, but most brand owners don't know the key factors to actually scaling an ad account. This means you continue to throw money in your budget at creatives that just don't work. See, after generating over $20 million in 2023 alone, my team has figured out exactly how to structure ad accounts and creatives in order to scale Shopify brands. And the key to it is that most people don't actually know how to find winning creatives. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how my team is taking creatives, implementing them into ad accounts, and scaling them up to generate $500,000 a month from Meta ads. Then I'm going to show you what winning ads have in common, and I'm going to walk you through how to allocate your budget accordingly. All right, guys, so we are in one of our clients' ad accounts. Unfortunately, I can't show you the naming convention because that will give everything away. But what I do want to show you is we have 7-day window here for your review. you can see that we have spent $11,000 and generated almost 40K at a 3.5x ROAS. Now, according to my calculations, 11,000 divided by 7 is almost $1,600 a day, and we are continuing to scale this up. Where I want to go is that when it comes to finding creatives and finding those winners, it's super critical that we have everything broken out. So in this specific campaign, we are testing audiences, and we have all of the different products specific to the audiences. Now you'll see this campaign and this ad at a 1.94 actually should be turned off most likely, but it's kind of weird because right now the columns are set for amount spent at $37, conversion value at 72. They actually don't have any products at 72, so our assumption is this is either an accessory or an attribution problem because our cost per purchase is $18.77. So really it's just our custom columns potentially are a little off right now. You can see that the other ones are absolutely crushing, and this one I'm going to turn back on. So based on our rules, we're doing 3-day rules, turn off, turn on based on attribution. So most likely that was turned off yesterday, attribution kicked in, and now we're at a 6.66x ROAS. So going back to what we need to make sure we're understanding is what creative are we testing, who are we testing against, and where are we driving it to? Understanding all of these different factors is going to be extremely critical. So first, in identifying valuable metrics that you should really be paying attention to, we have some custom metrics. Average order value, which is going to be purchase conversion value divided by purchases, and you can create these within Meta. Video hold, so for our videos, we want to see how many people are actually holding and watching the videos. Through plays divided by impressions. Conversion rate is going to be purchases divided by link clicks. And then we also want to look at landing page view rate. The reason we want to look at landing page view rate is because we need to identify how many people are actually getting to the page. And it's really important because if you're running a conversion campaign, inherently people need to get to the page. We want to make sure that there's a volume going. And if we start seeing a 20% landing page view rate, it's a clear indicator that potentially something is wrong with the website, site speed, pixel, conversion API, many things that our team would then have to dive into. So we have all these set, and these are going to be really the important metrics. We also have new customer ROAS in here. I'm not going to walk you guys through that. If you're interested in that though, leave a comment down below. I'll walk you through how to set new customer ROAS as a custom column. And so when we're going through this, we can see that we're looking at add to cart value. We're looking at all these different metrics, and these are so critical in establishing the success. So in order to truly understand what's working, what's not, we actually were lucky enough to find the company Atria, or tryatria.com. This is not an affiliate deal. I make nothing from this if you guys sign up. But what we used to have is Motion, and then we'd also have Foreplay. Those two were key in establishing which ad accounts, which ads, which copy, which headlines, which all these different variables were converting best. Then we'd use Foreplay to find all of the similar ads that are running in our clients' industries. And the truth is, it got really expensive. So luckily enough, one of the groups I'm in, shout out to Hydra, introduced me to Ray over at TryAtria and got us plugged into his tool, which is a perfect blend between Foreplay and Motion, where you connect your ad accounts and you're able to do everything that you can do in those two platforms in one. Highly recommend checking it out, tryatria.com. Let's get into that. So what we're doing, you can see we have a number of our ad accounts in here, and we're going through, and what we try to start with is just an understanding of our unique selling propositions for our clients' products. Seems basic and easy enough, right? And Atria has a fantastic way of finding the kind of themes within a creative angle per se. So what we want to do is we can look through all of the promotion or discount ads that are running. We can go back and we can look at all of the testimonial style ads that people are running. So from here, we're just able to save these into various boards based on our clients. Going deeper into that, we can go back to discovery and we can search for loop earplugs. and we can see that they have a massive library. Now, the great thing, if I follow them, Atria will actually give us a media mix on what they're running between videos, images, and carousels. You can also see their top landing pages where they're driving the majority of the traffic to. So what I want to do is just start out by looking at images, and we are going to select active, and we can start seeing all of the different ads. And this is where I want to hammer down in. This was actually something that was introduced by a friend of ours. Shout out to Rob. Breaking out the simplicity of how these guys are scaling ads. And I tell you that this is critical. This is really important to follow. It will make your life way easier. So you can see that these guys have all of these ads running, but if you notice, they are so similar. So we are looking at this one ad with this ad copy. Now, if we go back, we can see the exact same ad in a different color, another ad, same thing, different color, different color, different color. I literally just did a training on this earlier in the week. If you guys want that training link, leave a comment down below or shoot me a message on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'll get you over that free training where we're breaking out our creative iterations. And if you're looking to be in a fantastic group of Shopify owners and my team, you can join our exclusive community. Links down below. We're calling it the Charted Collective. It is a group of people who are here to help you grow your brand. Slack weekly coaching calls with yours truly. Click the link down below to join. And so what we want to do is we start to find themes, and these themes are extremely important. And you want to do that. You can test angles. So I've gone through Loop's ad library before. They're testing angles associated with people who love going to live events, testing an angle against parents who just want to maybe cancel out some of the noise of their screaming kids. They're also now testing dangers of high noise levels, so they're adding the fear element. These are the different factors that are absolutely critical when you're testing. Establish what are the unique selling propositions for your products, find some great Canva templates, duplicate them over and over again with subtle changes. From here, it is important to understand your allocation of budget, and this is critical when scaling. We have a meta ads needed calculator that we repurposed or created based on another video I'd seen. So we created this Google sheet to help us establish how many ads do we actually need to scale an ad account. And that's where this comes in. So if our monthly budget is $50K, we want 15%, 20% total for testing. $40,000 a month is going to our standard evergreen campaigns that we keep putting winners into. $10,000 or 15 to 20% is then going into our testing budget where we are trying new things. If our average order value is $79, our acquisition, our target CPA is 50. We can kill. This is a pain threshold. How aggressive do we want to be? 1.5 times. So that means our target CPA kill is $75. We estimate that 15% of our ads will win, 85 will fail, which honestly is true. And that means with a $50K budget, with that testing budget, we need 113 new ads every single month. My team is now coming up with 3 unique concepts every single week, and we are putting out 9.5 variations. This is accurate. It might seem crazy, but in order to accurately scale, this is key. When you're looking at an ad account, the key to remembering is that when we're back in here, we want to start looking at various time frames to see potential drop-offs. So if we look at the last 14 days, our ROAS were actually at a 3.37 across the board. We look at the last 7, we're at a 3.52. So we've dipped slightly, not enough to be scared. And then if we go to our 3-day rules, 17th through the 19th, we dipped even more. So now we need to look, okay, our scaling campaign here is actually starting to linger. Why is that? That is because we need to put more creative into this scale campaign while we're still doing all of our testing. Those are the red flags to watch for. Keep an eye out for high frequencies, higher cost per acquisitions than you generally will see. We want to be looking at an average or a median across the board to gauge when we should start killing things. So there's a ton of moving parts to scaling an ad account. I briefly just ran through this in the last 10 minutes. If you keep dumping money into creatives that don't work, you will never scale an ad account. You need to know what to measure, what to do, how to react, and understand the strategy behind the next steps. If If you're wondering how we scaled an ad account from 5K to 50K a month in Meta, I'm here to walk you through every single step of the process from starting with an ad account at 3K, now scaling them to 50 and 60K per month. If you're running Meta ads and you're spending at least $30,000 a month, but you still aren't necessarily seeing the returns you want, you're probably scratching your head and a bit frustrated. You might even be thinking to yourself, man, do I even know what am I doing wrong? Well, I can promise you, you're not alone, because I talk to Shopify brand owners every single day who are wondering the same thing. So in this training, I'm going to show you exactly how we scaled one of our D2C brands from spending under $5,000 a month to now 50K a month while maintaining a marketing efficiency ratio of 8.14 and an AMER of 5.6. So if you're interested in that and you're wondering how did we do it, this video is for you. Want to know what else? We have been able to consistently generate $250,000 in contribution margin every single month for this brand for the last 6 months. Over the last 8 years, my team and I have helped more than 150 brands, including D2C brands like Bread and Butter Pickleball, Icicle Eyewear, and Southern Swells. We don't just throw money at ads. We use data, finances, and creative strategies, consistently delivering exceptional results. So today, I'm going to break down the exact process we use so that you can apply it into your own ads account and potentially unlock significant revenue boosts you didn't even know were possible. So when we started this brand, their ad spend was around 5K. You can see here about 3,200. And like most small size brands, they were hesitant about increasing their budget with the fear of wasting money on ads that might not actually convert or be attributable to their Shopify dashboard. But here's the thing. The key to scaling is not about just spending more money. It's about spending smarter, more efficiently. So what our first step was transitioning from a wide variety of small campaigns to focusing on a few highly optimized campaigns. So I urge you guys, instead of spreading your budget across too many ad sets and too many ads, the goal for us was to focus on a more organized, purchase-focused campaign setup. And the structure was key because this allowed us to better control spend and make sure that we were exiting the learning phase quickly. Now, for those of you who don't know, the learning phase is on the ad set level, which is 7 days you need to hit 50 conversions. So if you're not doing that already, before going deeper into this training, I can assure you that's why you're seeing a crazy fluctuation in your cost per purchase, your acquisitions, your CPMs, your cost per clicks. There is zero consistency in your ad account. So the first step is to ensure that your ad sets are optimizing for the right objective. We're in D2C. You need purchases, not landing page views, not clicks, not engagement, purchases. So we continuously tested our performance goals and experimented with different ads. Meta, their algorithm works best when there is clear data. So we want to make sure that our conversion API was set up and the conversion goals were being tracked correctly was absolutely crucial. So once we had the strategy in place, we needed to figure out the creative and the copy to get those conversions rolling in. Again, we needed 50 in 7 days. So the next step, I want to get into that in understanding what creative is needed, how you can write relevant ad copy to get the most out of Meta. But if this is already seeming like too much and you've seen the results, you can click below, book a call with me, and I will audit your account. My team will do a deep dive to determine where the inefficiencies are. You must be spending at least 30K a month. So, like I said, let's get into the creative creative side of things. When it comes to meta ads, the creative is the most significant factor in 2024 and 2025. So that will literally make or break your ad account. But let's talk about what we need to do to make a winning creative. And that is exactly what we did with this client. So the first step was we wanted to be able to tell the brand story, and we wanted to see what was resonating most within the audience. So initially, we were just running statics and some very crazy videos. And eventually we were able to pivot to a DCT strategy, which honestly is no longer available, which had videos, carousels, and statics all within these ad sets without manually creating multiple ad sets like we do these days now that DCTs are gone. So this was truly key in understanding which visuals performed best. So one of the things that you need to keep in mind is if you're running video ads, the first 3 seconds are critical. So what we wanted to do was we focused on creating attention-grabbing hooks, literally bold statements that said this product is better than everything else, while still maintaining a clear understanding of the benefits. Our goal was to stop the user from scrolling. That was it in the beginning. And you can see we actually had performance increase rather drastically, rather quickly based on our results. So we wanted to convey the brand's journey, we wanted to create emotional appeal, and we needed a connection with this new audience. So what this did was build an amazing following, but as we all know, creative alone will not save a poorly structured financial approach. So in this next section, what I want to get into is how we're managing their ad spend, their MER, and some of the key financial metrics to make sure that every dollar was not only converting existing customers efficiently, but converting new traffic, first purchase profit. So scaling without financial clarity is like throwing darts in the dark. You will miss every time. Maybe you get lucky once, but it's not going to be consistent. So what our team did was we took every single dollar being spent on Meta, and we wanted to make sure that we were turning them into profitable returns. Well, you might be wondering, how did you do that? The first step was truly understanding all of his operating expenses. The reason we want that is because we begin tracking the marketing efficiency ratio, or the MER, which helps you understand the big picture of your advertising dollars, taking the ad spend by total revenue, dividing them, and ensuring that the ratio is over X to support your operating expenses. And at one point, we hit an amazing 8.14 MER, meaning every single dollar we spent, we generated over $8 in revenue. So that is when it is time to crank up the dial and scale to the moon. That is literally one of the most amazing MERs I've ever seen. So with that, we knew that this client was also doing some other things, and we wanted to understand how our advertising dollars are generating a positive new customer acquisition. So we dove deeper and we began tracking on a daily basis their AMER, which only takes into account revenue directly attributed to new customers. The way you can simply do that is you go into Shopify, you go into your reports, and you pull a customer report based on first-time customers. That one is key to truly understanding how effective our marketing and advertising spend is in relation to acquiring new customers. What this allowed us to do, honestly, was to stay laser focused on specific performance metrics. And in doing so, we were able to maintain an AMER of 5.6. Again, the only reason we didn't scale this to the moon was because of inventory. And the last step in the financial matrix that we are looking is the contribution margin. With that, we want to know our ad dollars are contributing to profit. So for any business looking to grow sustainably, you need to know and track your contribution margin, which is the profit, or revenue remaining after all ad costs and all variable costs associated with delivering your product. Our retainer, products, the COGS associated, shipping, credit card fees, every single variable cost that goes into delivering your product to your customers. Once all of that has been removed, that is contribution margin. So in our case, with this client, the contribution margin ended up generating $250,000 every single month for a total of 6 months, which then allowed the client to finally pay himself and every other team member, and then also reinvest those dollars into research and development, vacations, home renovations, whatever they wanted. That $250,000 was essentially profit before paying everybody else, all of the fixed costs. So when we audit a meta campaign, it's not just about reviewing performance. It's about uncovering missed opportunities and reallocating budget and making sure that campaigns are structured in a way to maximize contribution margin. I can't stress this enough, guys. It is key to scaling a store to know your numbers. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's fine. A lot of brands in that low 7-figure mark don't. So if you're interested and all of this seems to be too much work, because I can assure you that it is, click the link below, book a call with me. Let's walk through your ad account and see where things are. So when we go, there are key steps in our audit, which I'm going to walk you through. The first step is understanding the campaign structure. We examine whether or not the client's campaigns were set up to optimize for the right objective, focusing on only conversions. We also check to make sure there are proper exclusions and targeting overlaps. We want to make sure that you are not bidding all the time for the same customers, which is why we track AMER. From there, we want to look into any audience insights. Are we running completely broad? Are we running stacked interest, stacked lookalikes? We want to understand who is driving the highest value and adjust those budgets accordingly. And then lastly, with attribution being so key in the D2C landscape, we want to know, is your attribution setting the right one for your business? So we've adjusted the attribution settings to better reflect your actual customer purchase journey, which then allows us to optimize ads even more effectively. So as we're going through, we have this structure in place. Now it comes down to the strategy and how we're reaching your new customers. First step is understanding copywriting. And copywriting is not just about catchy headlines. It's about speaking directly to your audience's needs and motivations, which is what we did in this ad account. So we crafted copy that spoke to the different items that resonated most importantly with their customers. So all of the messaging was completely custom and tailored to each segment. For cold audiences, the copy focused specifically on value and brand discovery, introducing the brand, the product, and how it solves their problems. For warm audiences, we used retargeting, obviously, that focused on urgency and personalized messaging. Understanding that DSPs can work really, really well based on the user's behavior on your website. And then one of the most important things that we do here is our angles. So we segment out personas based on our onboardings, and we were able to quickly establish that these groups of people had these various problems, and we were able to introduce that both through the creative assets as well as the ad copy. So our goal was, we're identifying whether we're saving time, we're reducing effort, improving the quality of their life. All of these different things, we're speaking differently to our various personas. Paired those obviously with clear, direct call to actions, and the results have been nothing short of remarkable. So if you want something as in-depth as all of this training, obviously this is a lot. And as a brand owner, you don't necessarily have the time. But in this training, I have shared with you the exact process that we use to scale a D2C brand on Meta from spending $5K a month to $50K a month, generating over $500,000 a month with a 50% contribution margin. So it's not that you don't know what you're doing. You might not know what your account is capable of if you don't try. So right now I am offering a comprehensive Meta ads audit, the most in-depth audit you will ever receive. We'll dive deep into your ad structure, creative, targeting, and your financial to give you a roadmap to scale profitably. We only take a few clients each month. This is key. I don't have the world's biggest team. If you're spending $30K or more on Meta and you want to maximize your returns, click the link below. You can book an audit. We will walk through everything. My team will complete the audit and we will present it back to you. So let's unlock your brand's true profit potential with effective Meta ads. If you are trying to figure out when to use cost caps, bid caps, lowest cost, highest volume, target ROAS, bidding strategies on Meta, I'm breaking it down for you, specifically for Shopify and e-commerce brands, because there's a lot of numbers that go into the back end of figuring out your bidding strategy as well as your caps. So before we get into things, I am a huge advocate for cost controls, like a huge fan of bid caps. I've made a bunch of videos. If you want those, you can click there. If not, I'm going to break down cost caps, bid caps, highest volume, and where they all play in the grand scheme of your Meta ads strategy. Over the last 7+ years, I've worked with over 150 brands implementing this system into their business. So without further ado, I just want to start by understanding use cases for each of these cost control campaigns. So highest volume, basically going to be the standard that most people are setting up in their ad account. It's just going to be Facebook will go and try to get as many purchases as possible based on your budget. The algorithm takes into account a number of things, engagement being one of them, your average order value, the likelihood of the conversion rate taking place or being above where it should be, random things going on in highest volume. So I do want to say there is a place for highest volume. Personally, I think that place is in the testing phase. If you guys have seen any of my videos, you know we have a calculator that we take the total monthly budget and we establish 15 to 20% of that budget will go to testing. I like running testing on highest volume because we're not necessarily looking for the complete efficiency that we can get out of the account. Instead, we are looking for account level metrics to show that these creatives are outperforming the account averages. I can show you in a second to just lock you in to see what I'm talking about, but I get super excited about Meta because it's like how I scale a ton of brands. I like to do that in a structured ABO campaign, highest volume. So we're not letting those run forever. We are looking to validate our ideas and concepts of the ads to see if we can outperform account averages. Where we get into cost controls is going to be in the scale phase. Essentially, I'm putting cost caps and bid caps in place because I don't necessarily trust Mr. Mark to take my clients thousands and thousands of dollars every day to get them the results that my clients have trusted me to get for them. So I try to put some constraints, and I'm going to get into the math equations of how to establish your cost controls or your bid cap specifically in order to scale. So here is one of our ad accounts, and you'll see in the last 30 days, we've spent $92,000. From a purchase conversion standpoint, 126 out of 1.37. You guys might be like, wow, you guys suck, but I can assure you, based on how the business works, we are not sucking. That $92,000 has actually generated $268,000. So we're at roughly a 2.7x, pretty much at scale. Based on the market size, we know we can push more, which we are doing, which is why we have bid controls set in place. And so within our bid caps, we have it segmented out by different products and collections. This one's new. You can see the two that have been running the longest are this one and this one, spending a total of $27,000. These other two are relatively new. So in two campaigns, we've spent $30,000, roughly $1,000 a day on these. Now, what I want to do is get into our bid cap calculator. So what you can see here is I've created this calculator. We have a CPA goal of $40. What I want to do is with bid caps, essentially what is happening is we want to get into how much we are willing to acquire a new customer for and give that information to Meta. The reason we need to know what our CPA needs to be, or our CAC, is that we are willing to pay X amount of dollars to enter the auction with the likelihood of a conversion taking place. The way this is happening on the back end is conversion rate, engagement, and the person's likelihood of purchasing. So essentially, we're just trying to figure out when to put our ads into a specific placement within the auction that has a high likelihood of purchasing. Bid caps are set in place that if our bid is too low, we will never enter the auction. Therefore, we never spend $1. On the reverse of that, if our bid is too high, we are going to spend our entire budget and might not actually be anywhere near the efficiency that we need it to be. I hope this is making sense. It's essentially trying to understand the algorithm based on CVR, conversion rate, how much we're willing as a business, understanding the variable costs and everything that goes into fulfilling a product to a customer, as well as whatever information the algo knows about the person and when they're likely to purchase. And so in this scenario, we have a $40 cost per acquisition, or CAC. What I start to do is break down a very granular approach to a percentage of the bid based on the CPA. Because what'll happen if you're running bid caps, you'll know this. Essentially, we might have the $42 bid, although it is higher than the $41 bid. The 42 based on how Meta is implementing our creative, our ads into various placements. The higher bid might get a better placement, which means we'll get a better efficiency based on how many purchases are taking place. And I see this happen all of the time, that a slightly higher, the 42.40, might outperform the 41.60. And you'd think, well, it's a lower bid, so I'm trying to get higher efficiencies, but it's not really the case because the 42.40 is actually getting better placements. So this is how granular we are breaking down bid caps. $40, we want a 2.5% increase in that to get to a 41, so forth and so on. I want to see all these different variances to figure out what is my median, call it 44.80, and I'm going to go 3 lower and I'm going to go 3 higher, and I'm going to have 6 different ad sets running at a CBO level in order to determine which one is performing best. So you can see over the last 30 days, this specific campaign has spent $15,000. We are working at an efficiency right below our actual CPA is $30.66. And this one up here was actually a higher bid than these ones down here. Going back to what I was saying is that it all comes down to the efficiencies in volume. So then if you look at the rest of these, we were getting almost the lowest. We did hit one lower down here at $27, but we didn't get the volume. The volume came at 319 purchases at this specific bid. CPA is 40, bid cap was $50.40, and our cost per purchase was coming in at scale at $28. It really becomes a mathematical equation in test. That's why I said pick the median, go 3 below, 3 above. You will blow through a budget if you set a bid too high. I can promise you that. So be very wary on how you're setting these bids. You have to understand the financial metrics associated with your Ecom store. And if you're looking for more bid cap videos, I have a bunch of them. Click the link right up here in the Facebook ads playlist. I have bid cap and cost cap videos everywhere. To get a little bit more granular, we'll go into cost caps now. All right, so you guys can see in this account, there's been $140,000 spent in the last 30 days at 1.37. Again, same exact framework that I just showed you, same thing that we're trying to accomplish. $30 or less cost per purchases. We are at 31 right now. The reason being there's just tentacles of this, that there's direct correlation with purchase conversion values based on the Meta performance. So I want to show you a cost per result campaign. So this one has volume, right? We're talking 248 purchases, cost caps, baby. So overall, we have cost controls set up. The difference in cost controls is that Meta is going to take a 7-day average to hit your target cost per result goal. Bid caps, we're looking to pay to get into the auction hood with a high likelihood of conversion taking place. Cost caps are going to be an average of 7 days to hit your cost per purchase goal. So those are going to be the biggest things. And you can see we have a cost per result of $17.00. And we, based on the creative, have accomplished that here at a 1.78x ROAS. Now you can see 3.15 here sounds way, way better, but we're not getting any scale behind it. It's kind of picking up the leftovers. This one is performing at scale with a 1.78 cost per purchase of $15. So absolutely winning, crushing this. So I hope seeing and understanding how these all set up and establishing what your goal is with this. I just showed you a total of $300 something thousand over the last 30 days spent with $500,000 of revenue in 30 days using scale based on cost controls. Creating profitable ads in 2025 does not have to be as difficult as you may think. You don't need a huge budget, you don't need insane editing, and you don't necessarily need years of direct response advertising. However, most brand owners think that that is the reason why their ads are failing. You see, after working with over 150 brands over the last 8 years and generating $35 million in 2024, I've found exactly what goes into making effective ads. So in this video, I'm going to show you why most of you brand founders are stuck with unprofitable ads in Meta. And on top of that, if you watch to the end, I'm going to give away our top secrets for the best creatives. This way, you will have a place to start to generating profitable ads today. So hopefully you guys are familiar with different frameworks. We like to use Eugene Schwartz's 5 stages of awareness in creating the concepts in who we are speaking to for our clients' ads. That is all about the messaging. From there, and if you're interested in learning more about the 5 stages of awareness and how it relates to Shopify brands, leave a comment down below. I will make a video outlining our ChatGPT responses, our questionnaires, the information that we are gathering in order to create effective ads using those 5 stages. But in this video, we're going into the themes of ads that are converting at this very moment across the board. So framework 1 is the problem, agitate, solution framework. PAS. So for the problem, agitate, solution is we're essentially highlighting whatever the problem is that our product solves. I'm going to hop into Atria and show you guys some examples of exactly what I'm talking about. So within Atria, we can see we're in the question. So generally within the PAS framework, we're going to try to isolate the problem rapidly. The best way of doing that is with a question. So let's look at this ad. So we have 3 questions: social hack gone wrong, dry cracked skin, overdid it on the actives. So we've isolated 3 different problems. So this one's a little bit aggressive here. Cracked skin, new cellular hydration repair serum restores, going back to solution, weakened skin barriers in 30 minutes or less, or 30 minutes flat. Clinically proven. So we've identified the problem is dry, cracked skin. You've tried social hacks that you've seen on TikTok and you overdid it on actives. Fix it is the solution followed by the ad copy. Now I referenced in last week's video, which you can find right up here, we want to use the creative, the static, the carousel, the video to stop the scroll. The ad copy is what sells it. A lot of people will incorporate problem into the creative and then the agitate solution in the ad copy. This one's a little bit different where it's highlighting both. These are some of the most beneficial ads that I see running in our accounts right now. The reason it works is because it truly touches upon the audience's pain point. Now, going back to the beginning in the 5 stages of awareness, you need to make sure you know the audience's pain point and who your audience is. So what happens if you're not necessarily structuring your ad in this format, you're not invoking enough emotion to get them to click or at least show more interest. Highly recommend looking out the PAS framework in how you are creating your assets. So let's hop into ad style number 2, the storytelling ad. These ones are going to be fun. What we want to do within the storytelling ad is we want to hook with a relatable real life scenario. From there, share the journey, struggle, discovery, something that transformed your life, followed by the product, which is going to be the hero. That's the most important aspect, followed by a call to action. So let's go through here and we're going to try to find a storytelling ad. All right, so going back to the storytelling ad, we want to hook. So with my first postpartum, the hair loss was horrifying, right? So relatable real life scenario to their target audience, which is most likely women who have just gave birth. They're sharing that journey, that struggle is coming across in the first sentence. So hook them as quick as possible. From there, I was afraid I was going to go bald, but with my second baby, I started taking super hair. So now going back to story, highlight, introduce the product as the hero. This product just saved all of her hair. This is how we want things to start being conveyed. I gave birth. I had a very minor shed. That was a non-event compared to the first. Amanda R. From there, we're going back up to the ad copy. Get stronger, thicker, shinier, smoother hair. Super Hair is your comprehensive hair pill and multivitamin in one, holistically formatted to address nutritional deficiencies and hormone imbalances. And stress, vegan and bioavailable. So the storytelling ads work because they engage the viewer emotionally, making the product more memorable. You're probably going to remember this ad after just discussing it. What was that ad again? That is the recollection that we are going to get through a storytelling ad. It immediately invokes emotion or relatability, followed by the product, and there you go. And the last kind of style or theme that I want to go over is the Why Us framework. And that is going to be what differentiates your products from your competitors. The best way of doing that is using a concept that everybody's seeing these days, which is an us versus them, which let's hop into it. So the structure we want to use with a Why Us is a hook that poses a question or challenges the status quo. That's going to be important because that stops the scroll. From there, if it's UGC, we want to show the product in action, or we can show how it is different than the competitors. From there, we want to highlight the explanations. And lastly, direct to buy more. So regular toilet rolls are a real bummer. The purple makes me stop, completely opposite than the whites and blues that we see on Meta. Okay, us versus them. Clearly, everyone knows what this them is. It's a standard piece of toilet paper or roll. From here, us. So we're making a statement that this product that we are all accustomed to is a real bummer. From there, we are showing the explanation as to why these are different. 400 sheets per roll compared to 190 sheets per roll, 23 cents per 100 sheets, 34. So where there's a cost benefit, you're getting more for less money. Helps reduce deforestation. So we're touching on an emotional standpoint of nature. Cuts down 1 million trees a day. Delivers with carbon neutral shipping. Requires putting on shoes to leave the house. Looks good in your loo too. Objectively very boring. This approach builds trust and it makes it easy for customers to visualize how your products will improve their lives, even something as silly as toilet paper. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your ads, when you're creating these, are not confusing. You want these solutions to be isolated so that your product is clearly an advantage to your competitors, making it more likely that they will purchase. So these are my favorite 3 templates right now, kind of themes of copywriting and looping in your copy into your creative. Hey guys, if you want to see how we took a brand and flipped it upside down, I've always wanted to say that, but seriously, if you guys want to see how we took a brand from doing like $4,000 a month at a $200 CAC, transformed it to a $30 CAC in just 3 weeks. This video is for you. I'm breaking down each and every step. So from an ad account perspective, this is the first step that we do with every client, even on the discovery calls. This is what I'm looking at. Trying to identify average order value, your blended COGS, and the total cost so that we have our gross margins, which means we have our cost per acquisition, which in this scenario is $97. Now, for anybody in e-commerce, and you've started to grow your business, you completely understand that knowing your numbers is key. And that's why we start out with this document, because if our CAC or cost per purchase needs to be $30, but your cost of goods delivered to a new customer is $17, that only allows us $13 of wiggle room of profit, which will never work unless you have an amazing lifetime value, which we can get into in another video. If you want that, leave a comment down below. I can discuss and go through how to break apart your lifetime value with a cohort analysis report in Shopify, orders, customers, all of that information. If you want that, leave a comment down below. All right, so we're back to the spreadsheet. We can see we have a cost per acquisition at $97. Now, the key to this is that when we started with this client, we're looking at last month's data, May 1st through May 31st. You can see that the cost per result or cost per purchase was $89, $44, $258, $383, and a $14 per add to cart. So as it was and as it was standing, going back to our spreadsheet here at $97, these ads were losing this client money. And if you have any experience in direct-to-consumer e-commerce, losing the client money is not a good thing. So we knew we had to come in, we had to identify the value proposition that had the most mass market appeal to this product. And so through some different iterations, we came to the conclusion that for this round, we were going price point. Price point, most mass market appeal. The lower the cost, the more mass market appeal, and that is what we went with. So moving forward, we created a number of different videos. I think there's in total 24 different videos with the different creative iterations included within them. So going now to the last 7 days, and the date of recording is June 18th. You can see that we're at a $35, $33, $33.97, $70 purchase on retargeting. Not what we want to see, but from top of the funnel with the Advantage Plus, they're really capturing a lot of that re-engagement and remarketing side of things. So we're going to dive deeper, and we have a number of different ad sets running. In total, 12 different ad sets running, and you can see some of them are performing way better than others. If we open this up to the last 14 days, this 614 ad set is one of those iterations that we are testing. Now looking, we can see that there hasn't been enough money spent yet to determine whether or not these new versions of this first round of creative iterations are going to work or not. You can see the one that we did have was a $57. That's already been turned off. So going back to the ad set level, we're getting way closer, averaging the $36 customer acquisition cost, which is almost 3 times cheaper than their break even. So this is in a matter of 3 weeks, we were able to completely pivot this entire ad account to be profitable for the client. Their results have gone from $4,000 to literally, I think they're on pace to do $60,000 this month. But it wasn't just the Facebook ads that performed extremely well. Let's dive into Google ads. Now, going back to Google ads, you can see going back, there's a total of $3,300 spent with a conversion rate of 1.65 with a conversion value of 1.83. Again, not doing well on this one at all. Now going to this month, June 1st through this month, we can see we've already spent $4,360 with a conversion value or ROAS of 3.39, which is in Google's opinion, an infinity increase in performance. So overall, what we saw was there was a direct correlation between the effectiveness of the Facebook ads and the effectiveness of the Google ads. We all know there's a major attribution cross-platform issue per se, but to the day of launching both of these campaigns simultaneously for this client, we literally saw them increasing results and performance hand in hand. Facebook right now is performing slightly better than Google, but overall, both are working remarkably well. From a financial standpoint, the AMER and the MER are both over a 4. One of them is at a 4.81 right now. So this client has become from a cash burn to extremely profitable. If you are looking for the only way to set up your ad account for your ecom store in 2025, you found the perfect video, because I have spent millions of dollars on ads, running ads for ecom brands over the last 8 years, and the evolution of Meta has been insane. And we have cracked the code based on our efficiencies, our effectiveness, and our creative testing, where I can confidently tell you this is the structure that you should run with. Meta has gone through a transformation of different ways of running ads over the last 11 years I've been running ads. For a while, it was just throw anything up there, target the most specific audience you could find, and you would get conversions. Then 2020 happened, and it was kind of a tough way to get by on Meta. And then the evolution of DCT ads, and then scaling creative and having all these different ads running, but you didn't really know what worked and what didn't, because you had 10 ads running in one ad set and you weren't sure because you had 10 different headlines and copy variations. Well, it doesn't have to be that difficult, and that's what I want to break down today. So I'm going to walk you through an actual setup in real time so that you can follow along step by step. So without further ado, let's hop in. All right, so we are building out a campaign. If you follow me, you know that I don't usually do this. I show you more of the results side of things, but this is going to be the most important video that you watch this year, because I can almost promise you that you're going to get results. So obviously, we're in ecom. Sales is the objective. We're not going to do an ASC campaign to start. I want to do a manual sales campaign. All right, so think about the structure of your ad account. Chances are you have 4 or 5 products that are your best sellers. Each of those will have their own campaign. They're actually gonna have 2, and we're gonna keep walking through this. So what I first wanna start you with, and if you guys want, leave a comment down below. I'll give you our naming convention generator, which is our framework to make things so easy. So we're gonna start. For me, it's just BWM, company name. From here, product 1, test campaign, ABO. So for test campaigns, we want to be running ABO. That is because I want to test across the board evenly. I want to have as much control as possible while still giving the algorithm enough data to find my ideal customers. From here, this is where things need to get a little bit more specific, right? You're like, all right, Chris, great. Product 1 test campaign. Okay, fantastic. From here, we want to isolate what are we testing. So I want to do creative, meaning within this, I'm going to have the exact same ad copy, but different creative assets. So then we're going to do our batch. So we'll just say 1/7/25, batch 1. And then we're going to do interest or broad based on whatever your targeting approach looks like. Age, 30, 64. And then based on your historic data, I would say like male, female, or just female, whatever that is. So we have a pretty in-depth tracking system, which I shared in the previous video. And if you want to see that, you can click this link right here. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of that, which is right here. And so you can see we have our creative concept name. So this, in theory, if I was building this out to one of our clients, would actually go right here, like round 3, which you can see a direct correlation with round 2 here. And then our concept name is the ad name. And you can see we have our file name over on this, which associates with this concept name. So we're building that out. So we're saying round 3, this is a creative test. And obviously we want website, maximize goals, etc., daily budgets. We're not getting into any of that. Personally, I still like running with audience options. Personally, I would switch this to an original audience because there's a huge ripple that's taking place. And I actually just got an email from Meta a couple weeks ago, I'm sure you did too, that says broad is a minimum of 2 million people. So there's all these gurus out here saying broad, don't run any interest. Guys, interest still worked. We're literally testing them still every day. To the point though of Meta is we don't want to find audiences with like 500,000 people anymore, even less than that. We want to find millions of people that are still relevant to whatever we're selling. So we're still testing them and we're still seeing phenomenal results when you throw a single interest in or a large lookalike audience. Those are still going to be really important. Believe it or not, you heard it from me, they still work, which is why I like having control over my audience. From here, we're going to go into our naming convention. So again, we're going creative, date, 7, concept name, and then from there, this is a copy control. That is the only thing that's not being tested right now is the copy. We already have a winning copy, so we want to test against different creative. So from here, we're going to duplicate this 4 more times. So now we have 5 ads. Now, what I would do in this scenario is I'm going to edit all of these at once by holding command down on a Mac. I'm going to make all of the changes. Now, importantly though, is the only difference that you have here is going to be your creative. So I'll just do this one. Put this in, put this. This is one of my short form pieces of content that I publish on Instagram and TikTok. So we have that. Now we're going to do primary text 1, and we're taking that and we're putting it in every single one of these ads. So that is how you should be structuring your ad account. From here, if you have a winning creative, this is really important. I want you to make it even better. So now what we're going to do, we have that test campaign going. From here, I'm going to go back into my ABO. I'm going to duplicate it, original campaign. And from here, we're changing this. So now we're doing a copy test. Round 3, same exact everything else, guys. And we're going down here. And so we're saying creative control, meaning there is no other variances other than the creative. And so here we're going copy. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to paste it into all of these with a different concept or angle in this scenario. So for copy, what we're going to do is we're going to determine the angle that we're presenting out. So in this scenario, let's say we're selling hair stuff. I'm going to use soft, right? That's our angle. I'm going to use organic. Those are the different angles that we're going to be testing within the copy. So now you have one creative asset running against 5 different pieces of copy. Now, ideally, the next step of this, after you've isolated all of these things, you have now done your creative test. You've found your top 2 creatives. You're going to run a copy test. This copy test will have 5 unique pieces of copy. All of them will be different. Now you're running the same creative, different copy. In theory, you now have the ability to find out which copy works the best because you're running against the exact same ad creative. From there, you want to take the post ID. So what we're going to do in this scenario is I'm going to create a new campaign. We're going sales, manual sales. This one is going to be a CBO because I don't really care anymore. Facebook, I have isolated variables within a single ad to say this one is the top performing ad because we have the best creative and now we have the best copy. So what we're going to do is create our scale campaign. So what this is going to be is BWM product 1 scale CBO. And the reason for CBO is realistically just because at this point, I don't care. I'm running one ad set. What we're going to do here is date 1/7, 25 product 1 winners. Broad. Everything I just told you about interest and lookalikes kind of go out the window because now I have isolated efficiency, creative, copy at scale. So there has to be a good amount of purchases that have come through at the cost per acquisition we are looking to hit or our CAC targets. From there, I want to take this post ID and put it in front of as many people as possible that Meta will say are more likely to buy this product. And that is where we start to scale. So this is the framework. So from here, we want to go down and on the ad itself, we're taking a post ID. So the ad name will be the same exact naming convention as before, taking out, and you want to take the post ID. So in this scenario, we're going to use existing post. And because this is my own personal page, it doesn't have much there, but you'll take the post that you have. So you need to copy the post ID. There is a phenomenal Chrome extension that is called Post ID Display that you'll be able to quickly just insert your post ID right here. And there it is. Now, the reason you want to do that is super important. It's because that post ID has all of the engagement and the history of all of the purchases that have come through, making it very, very important that you're using a post ID, not starting from scratch, even though you're using the same exact creative. The creative is the same, but the data is not because it doesn't have all that historical information. So that is how we are setting up all of our campaigns. We have product 1 or collection if your collections are set up in a way that you can baseline your margins and your acquisition costs and your AOV. That's fine too. I prefer doing it this way with specific best-selling products. Then you can scale up using this system. Now, the key to this is to make sure that you are always testing new ads in your testing campaign. Make sure there's 5 running at all time. And they turn off, they turn on, they turn off. We use a very strict set of rules in how we're media buying, but testing is always key.